Hello, third grade. It looked like some people were having a hard time reading this because it has a lot of fancy words. So I thought I would make a video reading some different workbook pages. So this is workbook page 3 and 4. Peter Pan, the author and historical context. James Matthew Barrie was born in Scotland on May 9th, 1860. After graduating from college in 1882, he worked as a journalist writing theater reviews. He moved to London, England in 1885. Becoming a writer. In the late 1800s, J.M. Barrie wrote his first novels for adults. He published his first novel in 1887. He began writing plays in the 1890s. In 1894, he married Mary Answell, an actress, but the marriage was not a happy one. To get a house, Barrie started taking long walks in Kensington Gardens in London. Here he met a family of 5 boys: George, John, Peter, Michael, and Nicholas, and their mother, Sylvia Llewellyn Davis. I'm not sure about that middle name. We'll go with Llewellyn. The children inspired him to invent fantasy stories about a boy called Peter Pan who had adventures, which Barrie would tell the boys to entertain them. Peter Pan and Beyond. The character of Peter Pan first appeared in a book for adults by Barrie called Little White Bird, published in 1902. 2 years later, in 1904, Barrie's play Peter Pan was a great success in London. The play was about the same main character but was quite different from the original story. It was written for children as well as adults. Peter Pan and Wendy, a book based on the play, was published in 1911. This is the classic story we now know as Peter Pan. In the early 1900s, J.M. Barrie was very successful. He continued to write successful plays and novels for adults. When the mother of the Llewellyn Davis children died in 1910, J.M. Barrie became one of their guardians. J.M. Barrie died in London in 1937, aged 77. Historical context. Way up there. At this time, the book was written in the early 1900s. Life in England was very different from today, and this reflected in the literature written at the time. Stereotypes. England was on an island of Great Britain, and in the early 1900s, when Barrie wrote Peter Pan, traveling to other countries was very expensive and often dangerous. There were no planes, so to leave the island, people had to travel by boat. As a result, only a few people were able to travel outside of England. Most people in Great Britain at that time did not understand other places, cultures, or ways of life. The only understanding came from the stories of the explorer and travelers who often did not understand the people and places they encountered. Some explorers and travelers believed that the way they lived in England was the best way to live. They often treated people in other places very badly because they lived differently, and sometimes they wanted to take advantage of them. When they returned, the stories they told of their travels were often inaccurate and unfairly portrayed people who lived in other places and their customs and cultures. As a result, the literature from this time may inaccurately portray people from other places in the world. At this time, society considered women to be physically and intellectually weaker than men. Miss Witcher does not like that. Many thought that women should not work outside the home and that only men were responsible for earning money to support their families. As a result, a lot of the literature from this time portrays the stereotype of women and girls as maternal and motherly. They are also depicted as doing jobs in home like sewing socks while their husbands are out working all day. J.M. Barrie's books and plays reflect his own thoughts and experiences, which were shaped by many factors, including the time and place he lived. Things have changed a lot since then. There's a glossary for all of those bolded words. Remember, we kind of talked about glossaries a little bit. And I'm going to end this video, and I will upload another one for some other workbook pages. Bye.